Chapter 3, Utsusemi, is a brief story where Genji's obsession meets Utsusemi's escape. We will follow the reasons of the one who refuses. In the previous chapter, Utsusemi rejected Genji, yet he approaches her again through Kogimi. His desire disturbs another person's life. Beside Utsusemi is her stepdaughter, Nokiba no Oji, and a mistaken night creates a new wound. A misunderstanding no one wanted begins to spread. What matters here is that Utsusemi is not cold. She is protecting herself. Even refusal has urgent reasons. After being rejected by Utsusemi, Genji cannot calm himself even at dawn. For a man of his rank, this is a first sharp pain. He says he has learned for the first time the sorrow of being treated coldly. That sorrow is not always the same as love. Kogimi hears those words, feels sorry for Genji, and grows tearful. The boy does not yet know the weight of adult desire. In the boy's face, Genji even sees traces of Utsusemi. Because they resemble each other, he cannot let go. Genji thinks it would be ugly to act by force, so he stops sending messages for a while. The eyes of society restrain him a little. Utsusemi feels relieved, yet she also trembles at the loneliness of being forgotten. To be forgotten can also hurt. She knows that answering him would be dangerous, so she chooses silence with reason. Silence is not weakness. It is chosen protection. Still, deep inside, she keeps the regret that things might have been different when she was younger. Rank and marriage narrow her path. Genji tries to forget Utsusemi, but he cannot. Time without seeing her only strengthens his feeling. He asks Kogimi to create one more chance for them to meet. Kogimi, asked for this, is caught between them. Kogimi is troubled, but he also feels a little proud that Genji needs him. A child's pride is mixed in. A child's heart cannot fully think through his sister's suffering. Good intentions alone cannot always protect someone. Before long, Ki no Kami leaves for his provincial post, and many women remain at the residence. The master's absence changes the air of the house. At dusk, Kogimi chooses the hour when people's eyes are blurred. Twilight makes human boundaries unclear. He puts Genji in a carriage and secretly takes him to Ki no Kami's residence. This journey leads to the night of mistaken identity. Genji feels uneasy, but he has no will to stop carefully. Desire moves past anxiety. Kogimi leaves Genji outside the eastern side door and circles inside the house. He knows the structure of the residence well. It is a hot evening, so the lattice shutters and curtains are more open than usual. Summer openness becomes a dangerous gap. Women's voices reveal that Utsusemi and Nokiba no Oji are playing Go. Their cheerful voices draw Genji closer. Genji peers through the open gap and sees the two women. The act of peeping has already crossed a boundary. The small woman deeper inside is Utsusemi, the one Genji longs for. Her quiet modesty leaves an even stronger impression. She hides her face with her sleeve, avoiding a direct view. That gesture shows her wariness. Across from her, Nokiba no Oji is bright, full, and lively in expression and movement. Her youth contrasts with Utsusemi. Genji compares the two and is drawn even more to the quiet Utsusemi. His gaze compares them for his own purposes. Nokiba no Oji counts the Go stones and speaks with excitement over the result. Her innocent brightness moves the room. Utsusemi quietly checks the count and softens the other's noise. She does not let her feelings show outwardly. To Genji, that restraint appears as a deeper charm. He reads her modesty in a way convenient to himself. But the two women do not know they are being watched. Their defenselessness is not their fault. When Kogimi returns, Genji says the night will be worthless if he cannot meet her. Genji's words corner the boy. Kogimi shows childish confidence, saying he can manage once Nokiba no Oji goes away. Because he is young, he treats the danger lightly. The women eventually separate rooms and prepare to sleep. Once the rooms divide, the night begins to move. Kogimi pretends to sleep before the threshold and hides the lamp behind a screen. A small cooperation invites a large confusion. When the house is asleep, Kogimi leads Genji through the dark side door. Darkness does not erase responsibility. The rustle of Genji's robes and the scent of his incense spread faintly through the silent room. Fragrance marks rank and presence. Utsusemi senses that presence and realizes Genji has come. Her judgment is very quick. Wearing only a thin, unlined robe, she quietly slips out of the sleeping place. Only the robe she leaves behind remains as her trace. Utsusemi does not run only from fear. She judges the danger and evades it. Here the story shows her agency. Against an approach without consent, she has the right to refuse and protect herself. We today must not overlook that point. In the bed Genji enters, it is not Utsusemi but Nokiba no Oji who is sleeping. The dark chamber creates the mistaken identity. Genji realizes the mistake and is frozen by surprise and frustration. His shock is the collapse of a self-centered expectation. Genji thinks leaving would look suspicious, so he stays there. To protect his reputation, he makes the situation even more ambiguous. His mind is still filled only with the Utsusemi who escaped. There is no sincerity toward Nokiba no Oji. When Nokiba no Oji wakes, she is startled, yet Genji's words carry her along. Her surprise also contains how little room she has to flee. This scene is not a romantic success, but confusion born from rank difference and secrecy. It should not be treated as a beautiful love story. Genji glibly says that hidden relations make love deeper. His words are sweet, but responsibility is handled lightly. Nokiba no Oji answers that she cannot send letters and tries to protect the secret. She too has honor to guard. Genji says he can use Kogimi, creating yet another convenient path. Kogimi is again used for adult needs. Genji takes the thin robe Utsusemi removed and leaves the room. The robe is not a trophy of love, but proof of escape. Genji wakes Kogimi and tries to leave into the moonlight before dawn. The fading moon lights the danger. Just then, an elderly lady-in-waiting calls out, and the two hold their breath. A single voice could break the secret. The old woman mistakes them for another attendant and complains of stomach pain. In the tension, ordinary life enters. Amid that risky comedy, Genji finally slips out of the residence. Even after escape, the problem remains. Genji puts Kogimi behind him in the carriage and returns to Nijo Inn. The quiet return preserves the weight of the night. He complains to Kogimi that children are useless after all. His resentment is unreasonable for the boy. Genji laments childishly that he hates being disliked by the sister. Even a noble youth has childish dependence. Blamed by both Genji and his sister, Kogimi can say nothing. His silence shows his pain. Unable to sleep, Genji pulls an inkstone near and writes a poem. Sleeplessness turns obsession into words. The poem says that beneath the tree where Utsusemi changed herself, the memory of her nature remains. The metaphor of Utsusemi echoes here. He entrusts the poem to Kogimi and keeps the thin robe close. The letter again becomes Kogimi's task. The robe holds Utsusemi's scent deeply, strengthening Genji's obsession. Fragrance leaves the presence of someone absent. When Kogimi returns, Utsusemi scolds him sternly as if she had been waiting. Her anger as a sister includes fear. She speaks of the danger, saying no one knows what others might imagine. Rumor can easily wound a woman's life. She also fears that her brother's shallow action will make Genji look down on her. Being treated lightly is a danger to her life. Kogimi is blamed between the two and carries a painful role. The boy cannot bear both of their wishes. Even so, Utsusemi cannot help opening Genji's poem. Her heart refuses, but her hand moves toward the paper. She worries whether the thin robe she left like a cast-off shell looked shameful. She even takes responsibility for what she left behind. She pretends to be calm, yet Genji's feeling sinks into her chest. The words she receives quietly disturb her. She grieves for days that cannot return, wondering if a different fate might have existed when she was a maiden. Regret for the past does not erase her choice now. Meanwhile, Nokiba no Oji also goes home carrying shame. She too is left with a wound she cannot tell anyone. Because no one noticed, she suffers alone in thought. Not being known can be both relief and loneliness. At only the sight of Kogimi's shadow, she expects a letter and her heart stirs. Expectation can live in the smallest footstep. But no letter from Genji to her ever arrives. His silence becomes the answer itself. Utsusemi quietly adds her reply poem to the edge of Genji's paper. The reply is not to accept him, but to end the matter. She writes of a heart that wets its sleeves in hiding, like wings damp with dew. Tears are hidden inside sleeves, not shown before others. Even while thinking of Genji, she protects herself by not yielding. Acknowledging feeling does not create a duty to give oneself. Chapter 3 leaves us with the idea that refusal was not an obstacle to love, but a choice of dignity. That choice deepens the name Utsusemi.